Act of Impalement is a Nashville, Tennessee-based, let's call them a death metal band, and one that's been around for I think about 10 years, a little over 10 years, and they've always been a little bit all over the place. I think they started out wanting to play a sort of Black Death influenced extreme doom metal with a little bit of hardcore punk to balance all that out. You can sort of see how, like, on paper, a lot of those influences made sense on a, practically, and how that might be cool. It might cover all the bases, but the results really weren't as all encompassing as they intended to be on those early releases. It was Death Doom to start for the most part, and they'd sort of figured it out by 2014, 2013. They put out a couple EPs, and I think if you were a fan of like Cyanide and saw how that could apply to sludge and blackened crust punk, you were kind of getting there with that. Not exactly a winter kind of thing, but they were getting there with their sound. And when their full length came out, Perdition Cult, I it was more of a death sludge record, and it was fine. I think it was just honestly kind of forgettable, and I'd enjoyed it when I picked it up later in the year because I'd overlooked it. Uh, but uh, it was hard to really point to what was special or interesting about it, besides having a lot of interesting influences. Um, so if we cut to a clip of Atomic Hecatomb on here, I think we really get to how they solved this problem of like indefinite purpose, or unsurety of where to go, and how all those things work together. So I think the big thing that Act of Impalement needed was a feeling of a purpose, of where to go with all those influences. And oh well, obviously it was death metal the whole time. It's just that in terms of modern death metal, they had to find grooves that worked for them, that allowed them to insert the hardcore crust punk influences, the sludge metal influences, which are pretty light this time around, and still be able to lean into some death doom and that kind of thing. I think they've pretty much mostly sorted it out on Infernal Ordinance, in the sense that it reads as a death metal album with a variety of pretty cool influences. Um, it it doesn't necessarily read as a fully conceived, thought over kind of thing, but it's pretty much getting there. I think that the album art speaks to a certain style that fits, and uh, the production values make a lot of sense for all that they're trying to do. And I think it's a pretty safe, moderately high recommendation, because you're gonna have to probably be into the groovier uh, mid-pace side of death metal today in the kind of the United States scene, and have a little bit more of an open mind as to where they go with it. So I think they're almost there, and I think this is a really great reaction to their previous album, which just didn't really. It was neither here nor there, and now they're somewhere with their sound. So that was worth picking up and appreciating, and it's a good listen. There's several good songs on here, so check that out. Take a closer look at the score, and yeah, I'll throw another clip of another song on there.